The Andean wind howled through the narrow valleys of Ecuador as police officer Mariela Santos stepped out of her truck. Morning mist settled over the remote village of Otavalo. Another child was missing. Another mother wept at the station door. The locals whispered one name in trembling voices: El Monstruo de los Andes. Mariela had heard the story since childhood. A shadowy figure who hunted girls across Ecuador, Peru, and Colombia. Some said he was a curse. Others said he was a ghost. But Mariela knew this was no spirit. This was a man, and he was still alive. The missing girl's school uniform hung on a thorn bush near the river. Mariela picked it up with shaking hands. The cloth smelled of wet sand and fear. A footprint pressed into the mud. Small, barefoot. Beside it, another footprint. Larger, male. She photographed the prints and looked around. The forest was silent, as if the trees themselves refused to speak. Back at the regional office, Mariela placed the photographs on the desk. Her superior, Captain Ruiz, stared at them with a troubled expression. "This pattern looks familiar," he said. He walked to a cabinet and pulled out an old file covered in dust. The edges were torn, the ink fading. The name on the file made her breath catch. Pedro Alonso López, the monster of the Andes. A man believed responsible for killing more than 300 girls across South America in the 1970s and 1980s. "But he was arrested," Mariela said. "Yes," Ruiz replied, "but he was released in 1988, and then again in 2002. No one has seen him since." A chill ran through her. Later that afternoon, Mariela traveled to meet Rosa, one of the few known survivors of the monster. Rosa lived in a dim room above a market stall in Quito. Her hands trembled as she poured tea. "He was gentle at first," she recalled, voice cracking. "He spoke softly. He said God had sent him to protect me." Mariela leaned forward. "What did he look like?" Rosa hesitated. "He had kind eyes, like a teacher. That's why I trusted him." The words unsettled Mariela deeply. Monsters did not always have monstrous faces. As Mariela drove back toward the village, she noticed a white van parked beside the road. No number plates, windows tinted dark. A man stood beside it, adjusting a bag of what looked like clothing. He turned, their eyes met. The man smiled politely, but something in his gaze made her stomach twist. She slowed the car, pretending to check her phone, while secretly writing down the van's details. When she looked up again, the man had vanished. 2 days passed. Search teams combed the hills. On the third morning, villagers discovered the body of a missing girl near an abandoned field. Her small hands were folded over her chest. Mariela knelt beside the child and closed her eyes. Whoever did this had done it many times before. Ruiz approached. "Same pattern," he muttered, "just like the old reports." Mariela opened her eyes. "We need to stop him before he disappears across another border." At the station, a plain envelope waited on Mariela's desk. No stamp, no handwriting. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "You are searching for a ghost," it read. "Ghosts cannot be caught." Her pulse quickened. No one outside the investigation knew she had taken charge. This message was meant only for her. She checked the security cameras. There was nothing. No footage, no visitor logged, as if the letter had appeared by itself. Rosa called Mariela again. "I remembered something," she whispered. "He used to visit a market at night, a place where travelers gather. He said he liked to watch the children dance." Mariela knew the place, the Otavalo night market. She asked Rosa to stay home and immediately headed there with 2 undercover officers. The night market glowed with lanterns. Music drifted through the warm air as children twirled. Mariela scanned the crowd. Then she saw him. The same man from the roadside. The same polite smile. He held a small toy in his hand, offering it to a passing girl. Mariela moved quickly, drawing near. "Pedro," she said. His smile froze. "Officer," he replied softly, "you should not say my name in public. People fear what they do not understand." He stepped back. A moment later, the lights flickered and went out. Screams erupted across the market. People scattered. Mariela ran after him, pushing through the crowd. He darted into the dark alley behind the stalls. Her footsteps echoed off the walls. "Stop!" But he kept running, moving with speed that stunned her. At the alley's end, he turned sharply and disappeared around a bend. When Mariela reached it, he was gone. Hours later, after the market calmed, Mariela found a small wooden box near the alley. Inside were trinkets, ribbons, buttons, tiny bracelets. Each item belonged to a missing girl from a different country. The monster had left them behind like trophies, like signatures. A message was carved into the lid. "You will never understand why I do what I do." Mariela sat on the curb, tears filling her eyes. She thought of the families who would never see their children again. She thought of Rosa, living with scars. She thought of the empty villages still waiting for answers. She vowed quietly, "I will not stop, even if he crosses mountains, even if he becomes a ghost." For the first time, she understood something chilling. Monsters are not born in the shadows. They walk in daylight. They smile politely. And sometimes the world frees them before justice is done. The official manhunt intensified. Borders were alerted, but the monster of the Andes was never captured again. Somewhere in South America, a quiet man with kind eyes still wandered from town to town, carrying a bag of children's trinkets, waiting, watching, hunting. Like and subscribe for more.